report type of thing. I'm not saying they are bad. They're very good and in details and very scientific. But they are not very close, some of them are not very close to your audience's life. So time after time I ask myself, why do we need to learn this? If you choose a topic that is a science-related issue, then you need to land it into our life and tell us, so what's the lesson we learn? So what's the next step we need to take? So what's the action after you listen to me? What should we do? What can we do? Remember, all your audiences are real people. So you're not here just to do a project. You're here really want to make a change. I believe that's why you started this project with. You invest so much time and energy into the whole production. So remember to bring to a conclusion. Usually at the end of a presentation, in the conclusion section, there are two parts. One is the summary part, and the other is the conclusion part. The summary part is that because you are talking so fast and because most of the presentations are information loaded, you're the expert standing up here because you invested your time doing this study. But no, none of your audiences did that. So what you have to do is to give time and repeat constantly during your presentation so your audience will be able to digest the information, to understand, and then walk away from this room understanding the main point you tried to say. Because reading a book, you can turn the page back and forth anytime you want, but in a presentation, you cannot come to the stage and push the speaker's forehead and say, please rewind to 30 seconds ago. I missed that sentence. You cannot do that. So that is why a very clear, structured presentation is important for your audience, because they know what to expect. They know how to follow you throughout the presentation. And that is why you need to have an outline at the beginning, so your audience know what they will be expecting. And then at the end of every point, or at the end of every transaction, you need to remind them this is the end of this part and I'm going to introduce the next part. While you are doing so, you're trying to remind them the first main point and introducing the second part. So you do this constantly throughout your presentation, and then at the end, in the summary part, you say all the main points one more time. Or simply go through the flow a little bit. And then here comes the major part, and which I failed to see in some of the presentations today. That's the conclusion part. So what do we do? So you were successful in that experiment, but then what? Then what? The what will be the main point here, right? Okay, some of you had that, some of you failed to have that. So go back and think again about this part. Okay, try not to introduce new information into your presentation, especially at the end, because like I said, at the end, you summarize and then you give a conclusion, usually a suggestion, a advice, or a recommendation, but no new information is needed or even allowed at the end. I see quite a few video clips in today's program, and surprisingly, all of them are in simplified Chinese characters. That is strange. I believe you can definitely find probably the same video clips, like G.I. Joe. You cannot find complicated or traditional Chinese characters, subtitles? Definitely yes. Since we're using that, use that, especially here in Taiwan. I would highly recommend you to do so. One last thing. I'm really excited today to see that young people today care about environmental issues, cultural issues, gender equality issues. All these issues have great impact on to our lives and to your future as well. That is a great thing to see. And one last, if you're going to introduce all the guests here, use the title uniformly. Not some professors, some Mr. That is bad. Okay? Okay, good. Thank you very much for inviting me here.